What is going on? Welcome back to my challenge recap. This is going to be episode 2 of season 38, Ride or Dies. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I have all kinds of different content coming out. We got this every single Thursday, a day after the episode airs. We've got vlogs pretty much every Tuesday that are lifestyle, fitness, donut, food reviews, all kinds of randomness on here. But go ahead and subscribe. Got a big announcement coming next week, so be ready for that. But for now, we're going to dive into the challenge. And let me tell you, I am so excited for the season, like even more so than I was last week. And last week, let me tell you, I was getting excited. So at the end of last episode, we saw Bananas and Nani are coming into the game. They come in. They're being actually pretty welcomed by the rest of the cast. Turbo, though, not too happy to see him. He loves Nani, but Bananas, number one idiot man, according to Turbo. Which, shocker, Turbo's going to be causing more problems this season. So, yippee for that. But immediately, Nani finds out that her boo thing, Casey, ain't going to be here for the game. Which, obviously, she's not happy about. But surprisingly, like, she doesn't really break down or like freak out about anything. She pulls aside Tori and Laurel to find out what are the alliances, what's going on here. Obviously, that's the vet presence. And before Bananas and Nani came back in, I didn't really realize how small the vet presence was. With Casey leaving the game, Kayla getting eliminated. It's really like Tori, Devin, and Laura holding it down for like long-term. I guess Nelson too. But he's paired up with a rookie. There's a lot of weird things going on here where the vet presence just isn't really felt. Nelson also kind of flew under the radar last week because of just everything moving around with the rookies trying to really big body their way into this game. But so Nani wants to see what alliances are going on. She gets filled in on all of the stuff from the previous week, how Johnny and Raven gave this big speech that they're not playing no punk-ass game. The rookies are here to play. And obviously, Nani's not going to take kindly to this. Her and Bananas are the vets of the vets. Like, they're the people who come in, run the game, and immediately they want to shift that power dynamic. What we do find out, though, is that Nani lost her mother, unfortunately, and pretty unexpectedly. And so she's really here trying to cement a legacy for her mom and just kind of help that energy live on. So the fact that paired with Casey leaving, she just seems like she's in a really good place. And I'm really excited to see how Nani competes throughout this season. She also said she's been working out. So put some muscle on. I'm really excited to see her. She's always had like this little bit of fight in her, but to actually put some muscle behind it and like really be here for a purpose. And you're paired with a 7-time champ. Like, come on now. It's gonna be a season. So Turbo comes straight from Bananas. Like, he's just kind of in his face about shit. He obviously number one idiot man, but he just does not like the banana, as he calls him. And Laurel fills him in that they had a champagne incident. So Johnny's already got a sour taste in his mouth about Turbo. And honestly, it seems like the whole house does. So we're gonna get into that a little deeper. So we go to the daily and we find out that Emmy has quit, which takes her and Nam out of the game. I don't think there's anyone in the history of the challenge with worse luck than Nam. He comes in one season, he gets injured. He comes in another season, he has to leave because of COVID. He comes in a third time and his partner quits on him. Part of me, I don't have any facts behind this idea. This is a theory. I like to really run wild with my challenge theories. I am a little too invested in the challenge world. Part of me feels like maybe she didn't quit, but production kind of urged her into leaving, so they had an excuse to bring in Casey and Kenny. Spoiler alert, Casey and Kenny come back later in this episode, which I also found out last week. I just didn't really want to talk about it until it was a thing. But there was COVID issues there. But so I thought maybe production would have been like, hey, look, Nam really doesn't have a fan presence. He's never really been here long enough to establish a relationship with the fans. No one's really rooting for. I mean, people like Nam, I feel like, but nobody's like Nam, Nam. Nobody's like really pushing Nam. So they're like, this is kind of an easy out. Is a rookie and kind of two rookies, even though this is your third season. So I think they could have. Again, I don't know this to be fact. This is just maybe an assumption. But so Emmy leaves, Nam leaves with her, and now we get into the daily challenge, which is called Balancing Act. And essentially, what you have to do is jump into the water, climb up these rope ladders onto like shipping containers that are suspended in the air, and then the guy swings across onto like a balancing board, and there's a rope all the way across it. So he has to swing, grab onto the rope before he falls off, obviously, because it's going to tip down, and then climb his way up so he can start to tip it the other way so that the female partner can then swing and make it on. Horatio and Olivia go first, and they absolutely kill this challenge. Horatio, people say it every way. Horatio. They've been literally saying it every way on the challenge. So I'm going to say Horatio because I think that that's how most of them are saying it. But he does like obstacle course, kind of like American Ninja Warrior type stuff before this. So he kind of has like an upper hand here. He definitely is somebody to look out for. He's quiet. He's not going to be like the most social out there guy. But later on in this episode, we actually see him like building a bond with Laurel. So I think he is kind of making his way. He's not the outward like trying to make a name. I feel like on the challenge nowadays, a lot of people are literally here to make a name. They're here to make a career. This isn't the challenge from 10 years ago, but really 5 years ago, like where you kind of just come in, you're from a few shows and this is a completely new game. They're bringing people from all over. So he's not really here for that though. He's really here to compete, and it shows in this challenge. And I was honestly impressed with Olivia. She doesn't really have that like fighter energy to her. She seems like she's gonna be more of the partier, more of I'm here for a good time. I'm here to get along, have fun with everybody. Watch out for them. They're gonna be something. I think that they're gonna be really good. So now Scuba Nelly T is acting like an idiot going up onto this thing. Like he does some weird little move off the rope, somehow catches himself and pulls him up there. But Nerys falls in. And then a ton of people start falling in. Like they start playing music. There's just people going down. You see team after team after team fall in the water. And it amazed me how many people could not get this challenge done. So Daddy Devin makes it look easy. Like honestly, he looked like an athlete up there, and I was very impressed. Like he didn't just barely make it to the board. He was well up that board, grabbing that rope and pulling himself up. So him and Tori are the first to complete the challenge since Horatio and Olivia went at the very beginning. Then Bananas and Nani come up. They, of course, also make it look easy. Like, I feel it's so weird that just being in this game and doing random things like this make you better at them. But even not doing this type of thing, you're just more confident in, I feel like, the movements and the heights and just the randomness of what you have to do, that being a vet is really an advantage. And Bananas and Nani show that. So they were the last team to go. But TJ then says, we're waiting on the last team. We're waiting on the last team. And this is where Casey and Kenny come out. They also get it done. And so only 4 teams completed this challenge. Honestly, it was embarrassing. Like, I wish that they would have showed it more, because I would have loved to hear commentary from people like Fessy and Turbo and all these people who have like these egos and couldn't get it done. Turbo made it up the rope after Tamara did. So like, he's supposed to be this big badass dude, and he couldn't even make it up before the girl did. Like, come on, dude. So I would have loved to hear commentary from all these people who couldn't get it done. But 4 teams finish. Johnny and Nani are the number 1 team. That was dope. Like, you just come into the game. This is a hell of a start to your season. Casey's back. Nani is like on top of the world. So they go back in the house. Nani pulls Turbo aside. She's like, hey, I've been hearing things around the house that you want to go in. Do you really want to go in? And of course, Turbo being Turbo does not take kindly to this. I can't even say like he shuts down. Like he doesn't even want to talk to her. He's like, I'm not having this conversation. You're not going to talk to me this way, this and that. And so it ends up being a bigger blow up than it needs to be. But it also pushes Nani to be like, okay, like whatever, then you can go in. And it kind of makes their decision easy. So in deliberation, Bananas decides, I would like to put up 3 groups who are connected or friends. That way, one of them has to pull the dagger and choose and really show where their cards are at, like where they fall on this totem pole of 3. So what they do is, obviously, Turbo and Tamara are in. They pull Michelle and Jay, which Michelle and Nani, from this episode, we see that they have a relationship outside the house. We as fans don't really know this, but Michelle has like heard about it. Jay obviously expected it, but he's been with this rookie like overthrow, this rookie rebellion, trying to take on the vets, which doesn't make sense to me. Jay's in like his 3rd season now. Michelle's done at least 2. Like, you guys got to get some shit together here. So Michelle and Jay, Johnny and Raven, and Horacio and Olivia. That one, surprisingly, Bananas and Nani didn't really want to do, but they really felt like they didn't have another choice. They're a strong team. Clearly, from this last challenge, we saw that. They're the only people who aren't vets to finish, but also they are connected to that group. So, best case scenario, they get Turbo and Tamara out. Worst case, we break up this threesome of friends. So, Michelle basically breaks down to Nani. That's like really the biggest part of this deliberation that happened, besides Turbo and Tamara just walking out. He won't even talk about it. So that just pretty much solidifies the fact that he's the one who will be 100% going into elimination in the zone. So after deliberation, we see Johnny and Raven. I need to only call him Bananas so that we know who we're talking about. So we see Johnny talking to Olivia, and he's basically talking about how they're going to be in this house for a long time. And so just to trust in the loyalty that they have. And Jay and Michelle are inside and they see this going down, and it kind of makes them skeptical, which rightfully so. I would be thinking the same thing, like Johnny's doing a lot and Michelle sees this and Michelle's like, look, dude, we can rock with the vets. We don't have to do this. There's a bigger vet presence here now. Like, we can make this move. Jay and Johnny have a relationship outside the house and he wants to keep that intact. But the way that Johnny's playing, it looks like he doesn't know who he would save. So you can tell that they're kind of nervous that if Johnny pulls safe, will they pick Olivia and Horacio? And personally, I think that that's just a safety measure for if Olivia and Horacio pull it, that they're going to be the ones who are safe and Jay and Michelle will go in, which is still kind of messed up. Like, you're not advocating for your friend at all, but one of you guys has to go in. So I kind of get it. Like, you want to make sure you're safe on all fronts. So I do get it, but they get down there. Bananas and Nani obviously put Turbo and Tamara in. So at the draw, Olivia and Horacio go first. They pull blank. Johnny and Raven pull, it's blank. So Jay and Michelle obviously have the safe dagger. Then they go back and forth over who they save. Michelle really does not want to save Johnny. She says, if we put Johnny and Raven in, then we show the vets we're with them. Jay's like, this is my friend. I promised him I wouldn't put him in. I don't want to put him in. So he ends up winning. And Jay, it's like he can never be on the same page as his teammate. No matter what's going on, he always is falling another way. So they end up saving Johnny and Raven, which forces Horacio and Olivia to go into elimination against Turbo and Tamara. They play a game called Memory Lane, which is essentially these 2 giant boards with, it's like a memory game. It's all these, they're tiles, but they're like where you'd flip cards over and pull 2. So you go up, it's like a communication thing, which we all know Turbo's not good at. But you go up, you flip 2, you have to run back, and you're like not up there so you can't see. Run back, kind of relay that information to your teammate. They go up and flip 2, and you want to get all 12 matches. So it's a lot of remembering, but also being able to remember what your partner said. So they're in here, and they just start going. And it's not just like the shape. So like there's some hearts, there's some knives, there's all kinds of things in here, but it's also the color of them you have to match. So it's harder than it looks. Turbo and Tamara get one, and then it just becomes a bloodbath. The entire cast, the whole sideline, starts helping Horacio and Olivia. No one, and I mean no one, wants to see Turbo come back in the game. I don't even think like it's an intimidated thing at this point. I don't think that they're scared to face him. I don't think that they're scared of him in a final or anything, which granted, if he was in a final, he is a force, but they just don't want him in the house. He's a bad energy. It's not like he brings anything. He's not friends with anyone. It's just not a good place to be. And we've seen this time and time again in the challenge. It's a social game. You can be the biggest, you can be the strongest, you can be the smartest. It doesn't matter. If you don't have friends, it's not going to work. And we see that here. Horacio and Olivia get all the help. All the help. Every single person up there is cheering for them. That's included. And I honestly think that above anything else, what this did was solidify them with the vets. I think that they are going to be the rookie team that's brought into the fold. It already seems like Bananas and Nany like them. And I'm going to call something out right now. I think Bananas and Olivia are going to have something. She seems like his type. Just the way he was talking about her and to her, I feel something coming there. I could be wrong, but maybe at 40, Bananas is like, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to have a hookup. But if I had to guess, Bananas is same old Bananas, and he's here for a good time. So we will see how that plays out. But Horacio and Olivia win. Turbo and Tamara are sent home. And surprisingly, Turbo was actually took it pretty well. He's like, everybody was against me. It is what it is. I lost. I still hope Nany and Bananas win. So I was like, okay, very respectful. I honestly hope we don't see the guy in. I like the dynamic he brings in terms of competition. There's too much of a language barrier. Even Tamara could talk, but there's always something off, and it's this ego. I don't know what it is, but he does not fare well with the rest of these pussy chickens. But anyway, they go home, and TJ says he's still feeling friendly after they're about to walk off the stands. And out walks my boy, Jordan Wisely. Tori looks like she just saw a ghost. Devin has like this little smirk on his face. I don't know if it's just upping the vet presence maybe. They have the numbers once again. You just saw Johnny, Bananas, and Nany take back control of the house. Show the rookies like, you can do what you want. This isn't your game. And so we don't see Jordan's partner yet, although we do know it's Anissa. So I'm super pumped to see what next week is going to bring. We see the Jordan and Tori confrontation. We see it all. And I am pumped for it. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this little recap. If you did, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below how you feel about the episode, who you want to see do well moving forward, maybe who you don't like. Let's just get some interaction going here, talk about the show. And other than that, I'll see you next time. Peace.